Assalamu alaikum, sister. Thank you for writing into our live session. I'm really sorry to hear about what you're going through with your marriage. You said that your marriage was filled with love, right? But everything changed. Described that, like, shortly after the marriage, your mother-in-law started interfering, and his family, meaning, I think you mean his mother-in-law and his family, have yelled at you in front of your husband. You stated that he didn't say anything, right? Which must have hurt a lot. I'm thinking that you're living with your in-laws, which is very common, and a lot of times it works out beautifully, and it's a blessing, and sometimes it doesn't. Okay? You further state that, sometimes he says he loves you, but when the situation comes, he leaves, right? And says his mom is right. So unfortunately, sister, your husband is always on his mother's side against you. And that is not right, because you are his wife. He is to protect you. He is supposed to stand up for your rights. He's not supposed to let anybody talk to you like that, even if it's this mother, right? He's supposed to respect his mother, of course, and be kind to her, but he's not supposed to let her abuse you and yelling at you and belittling you and interfering and doing things that are destructive. That keeps going on. That is not protecting you. He's supposed to protect you. So with that said, you don't want to stay with him, understandably, because it's kind of like abusive, right? Who would? But you love him. And you're wondering what, Allah wants from you with this, and you're really confused, it sounds like, because you're wondering if your marriage is a blessing or a curse. So I think, sister, inshallah, if you and your husband can go somewhere away from his family and just sit down when things are calm and just tell your husband how much you love him, how much you want to save the marriage, but that you're feeling really, and I'm going to let you fill in the blanks, right? Just tell him how you're feeling. Say, I'm feeling, and then say, hurt, insulted, not loved, whatever you come up with, whatever you feel, just tell him, right? Say, that you love your mother-in-law, his mother, and you want her to treat you well because you treat her well, and you want to get along. But if things don't change, it's just going to continue to hurt you, and you're going to get more sad, right? At this point, you may also want to, discuss, certain points in the Quran with him regarding, how a husband is supposed to treat his wife. And maybe even, look at some of the authentic hadiths, right, of how a husband is supposed to treat his wife. And one of our best examples of this is our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, right? Like, look how he treated his wives. He loved them all, and he treated them all very, very well. He was never mean to them. He never would let anybody harm them or speak badly to them or about them, right? And as we strive to uphold the Sunnah, that's something for him to think about, for your husband to think about. So that may be a point, to look at, the Prophet life and how he treated his wives. It's not easy living with in-laws, sister. It really isn't. It's a test and a trial sometimes. But like I said earlier, like sometimes it really works out, and it's a blessing, and people become one big happy family. But sometimes there's jealousy. Sometimes there's resentment. Your mother-in-law may be going through some of that, right? But, she does not have the right to yell at you. She does not have the right to mistreat you. She does not have the right to belittle you. So please do speak with your husband. Talk to him about it, and just say that, you do not want this to continue, that it can't continue, right? But when you do speak with him, just make sure that you reinforce how much you love him, and that you do want to save the marriage, because truly that's what you're trying to do, right? So the situation will work out, sister, but it's going to take, efforts. And it's going to take prayer. It's going to take, some compromises. It's going to take your husband standing up for you. It's going to take your husband being man enough to tell his mom, I love you very much, but don't talk to my wife like that, please. Right? So, inshallah, sister, stand up, talk to your husband, make yourselves both a team, right? Because a team of protection for yourself. And inshallah, his mother will, become more soft-hearted, more kind, more accepting. She maybe, I don't know, maybe she's jealous. Maybe she doesn't want her son to be taken away from her. Maybe, who knows? Only Allah knows, right? But in any case, just remain your sweet, beautiful, pious self. Don't sink down to that level, right? But do stand up for yourself and do talk with your husband and try to work towards a solution that is Islamic, right? Because you being mistreated is not Islamic. And that has to be known as well. So, please do let us know how you're doing. If you do fear that you're going to do something drastic because you're depressed, please do call the crisis center where you live. Okay, reach out to somebody. Okay, you stated that you won't. So, inshallah, we can go on that. But if you feel things are getting too out of hand, please do reach out to somebody in the community, as well as the crisis service in your area. But sister, this inshallah will be a temporary situation, and inshallah it will be resolved. And guess what? When it is, you'll come out much stronger, and you'll just feel much better about the growth and the knowledge and the wisdom you've gained through this, even though right now it's very painful. But please do speak with your husband and try to resolve this. We wish you the best.